Welcome back to First Take. The Browns quarterback race continues as Deshaun Watson got the start in the preseason opener against the Chicago Bears. Watson completed 11 of 15 passes for 126 yards with a lost fumble, while Shedeur Sanders had an up-and-down performance in the second half. After the game, head coach Todd Monken gave Watson high praise, but also confirmed that he is sticking with Shedeur as a starter for their Week 2 preseason game against the Bills. Here's what he said.
I did feel going into last game that it was relatively close, in terms of both having an opportunity at the starting position. So it would be unfair to not go into the next game and allow Shedeur that opportunity.
All right, fair enough. There seems to be two quarterback competitions still going on here in the NFL. That one that we just talked about, the one we're going to talk about here in Cleveland, and then one in Atlanta as well. So Dan is our resident quarterback. Do you believe it is still a race between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders after just one preseason game in the entire training camp?
If we're going off one preseason game, no. I've been somebody, if you've been paying attention to me at all, I have been on it makes more sense to me to start Shedeur. Start Shedeur. If it's close, start Shedeur. You know kind of what Deshaun is. He hasn't been playing much of the last 5 years. There's been injuries. He has very little chance to be a part of your future. I haven't seen practices, so this is going off of just what I saw week 1 in the preseason. It didn't look close performance-wise. I thought Deshaun played a lot faster, played a lot more sudden, was more decisive with the ball, and made good decisions. It wasn't perfect. There was a play or two that I sit there and say, why are you doing this? In relation to Shedeur, it's kind of the same stuff that was a gripe of last year. It's like, play with more urgency, please. Get the ball in your hands more and quicker, please. He started off good, couple plays, and then they get down into the red zone, and there's two options for him to get the ball out of his hands, and he just doesn't, and all of a sudden we don't get points as an offense. And so the reality is Deshaun starts the game, he throws the first punch, and now Shedeur has the opportunity to match that punch in the game. I don't think he does. This is a play where you just take that ball over the middle of the field and you're going to go get that conversion because then it leads to third down. You take the ball down. Now he's chasing. He's in chase mode to try and go see if you can go catch what I would say is a lead for Deshaun Watson.
I think Deshaun Watson starting to be a waste of everybody.
No. Go ahead. Kevin, go, and then Myron, you go after him. Go ahead.
I think starting Deshaun Watson would be a waste of everybody's time, organizationally. Now, sometimes, you know this, Dan, sometimes you have to start the veteran because you want to keep other veterans happy. You want to send the wrong message. And, someone like Jerry Jeudy would say, why are we wasting a year of my career by trying to figure out what's going on at quarterback? If it wasn't close, as you said.
Right.
I was at practice. I saw a lot of mistakes from Deshaun Watson. I don't know if he's gotten better in the last 2 weeks since I was there, but it was a lot closer in practice than it was in the preseason game. I would start Shedeur Sanders, try to start Shedeur Sanders if I was the Browns. And frankly, just going organizationally, I'd rather start Dylan Gabriel than Deshaun Watson because I just think that this is not about 2026. They're going to be bad. They're going to be in the Arch Manning, C.J. Carr, Darren Mensah, John Mateer sweepstakes. That's just what's going to happen. Deshaun Watson's last year of his deal. He has an enormous dead cap. Even after this, the media said, hey, would you be open to signing an extension? Let me stop you right there, media. Deshaun Watson is not going to be offered an extension in Cleveland. This era is over in January. So I just don't see organizationally what you're building if you start Deshaun Watson, other than trying to keep the locker room happy with the few veterans that they have.
Now, Myron, go ahead.
Yeah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. If you were going to start Shedeur Sanders, I think you'd know by now because you'd want a young quarterback to have the confidence to know that this is his team. That just hasn't happened, which leads me to believe it is Deshaun Watson because Tom Monken just hasn't seen enough from Shedeur. I do think he has been a little politically correct. I don't know if he wants to deal with the backlash that comes with, not playing Shedeur Sanders and that being sort of a storyline. It'll be Deshaun Watson, but I think he's more concerned about 2027. Neither one of these guys is going to be the quarterback next year because they're going to get a young guy that they can mold and develop, which is why they're in the situation they're in right now.
It does. From my perspective, like a fan perspective, it seems harder to go from Shedeur to Deshaun just because it's easier to pull Deshaun and be like, okay, Shedeur, you finish the season. Whereas if Shedeur struggles out of the gate and you put Deshaun, like you can't go backwards, right? Like once you've already made a decision and it feels like Shedeur maybe, if he's going to be the future, you need to actually see that. What did you see that was positive from Deshaun Watson in this game? I know you said he played fast. He played with a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
But what else was promising?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that stands out the most, that you walk away and you go, okay, now he should, because he's played so much football and certainly had some stretches where it was at a ridiculously high level. But I thought he went to the right place with the football more often than not. I thought he played with a suddenness at his top. Like, here's a clip. This is a simple concept. It's a curl flat concept, but you get the defenders to widen. The timing of 1, 2, 3, ball has to come out right now as the receiver's dropping his hips. That's well done. I don't have a ton of glimpses of Shedeur doing that. Now, this is something you want to see improved. He goes to set to the bottom of the screen. That guy's open. Throw the ball. He doesn't. He goes to set to the top of the screen. That guy's open. Throw the ball in the green circle. For some reason, Deshaun doesn't, and then you run and it's a 1-yard gain. And so that's where I would sit there and I would say, you've played too long for that still to be an issue, and maybe that's some of the mistakes that Kevin's referencing in regards to practice. But I thought overall, you walk away saying, yeah, Deshaun did a nice job. There are still, when you watch Shedeur play, there are moments of good. Shedeur started the game really good, a couple balls down the field. But there is a suddenness, physically, quickness, a twitchiness where you're like, come on. And so if Shedeur had done that, I would have said, yeah, coming off of what my belief was, start Shedeur, and then the game, I would say, Shedeur, all you got to do is week 2, take advantage of that opportunity, do a good job, and you're the starting quarterback. I walk away from preseason week 1 saying, right now, Deshaun Watson from that game would be in the lead.
To your point, though, the first one, wouldn't those be scripted plays? Wouldn't those be the scripted plays and then the ones that aren't scripted?
Sure, and Shedeur is going to have the opportunity to play with probably a couple more starters like Deshaun did. So, yeah, but the point is, in my vantage point, Shedeur's chasing right now. Mm-hmm. He's chasing, and you have to overtake Deshaun rather than at least week 1 it being an even fight.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple things on it. Number one, I sat down with Shedeur 2 weeks ago, and I loved his mindset. And literally, at one point, they were asking him about, the media was asking about Monday, and he said, it's Saturday, I'm worried about Saturday. He didn't want to feed the beast as far as the media hype goes. And I liked that. I liked that mindset change for him. With Deshaun, I've talked to guys around Cleveland. I said, what happened to Deshaun Watson, just physically? And they said, the issue is, it's not that the highs and the peaks went away. It's that there was a bottom 10% of throws and plays that were just disasters that were not on film in Houston. Now, that could be the surgeries and the injuries catching up on him. Yeah. That could be just a mindset change for him. That could be him pressing maybe to justify whatever. But he is a different player than he was. And so I just think when you add in those disastrous plays, you can't get by in an NFL season like that. That's why I just don't think that it's going to be a blowout between Watson, Shedeur, and Dylan Gabriel. I think we're going to get close enough.
And they're both going to play.
Yes, I think they're all going to play. And also, I mean, I hate to say it, Dan, you've been around the NFL for a long time. There is an element of they're probably looking at the top of the draft next year and saying, hey, we need to position ourselves a little 100%. Bit for that. So there's going to be an element of that, too. And I don't know how you even approach the locker room with that, but my guess is they figure it out.
Myron?
Yeah, Cleveland doesn't have any great options with Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. I just wonder if his name wasn't Sanders, if we talk about him differently. I don't know another young quarterback who's been set up for success more than Shedeur Sanders has been. You beat out Dylan Gabriel, you beat out a Deshaun Watson who's past his prime, and he hasn't been able to do that definitively. So for me, what does that say about Shedeur Sanders and his development at this stage in his career if he's going to lose his spot to Deshaun Watson with the way he's playing now?
Deshaun Watson has been in Cleveland for 4 seasons. He has missed at least 10 games in all 4 of those seasons. Time for a Shea shout-out now. We go to the WNBA.